All-Star Battle has no neutral game. When someone first picks up the game, they ask, how do I open up my opponent and how do I beat them quickly? This leads to the first aspect of the game that really throws them off: movement. You have a slow walk, a run, or a wave dash, and a jump. For a beginner, it's easy to flock towards almost exclusively jumping, as it is a way to safely move forward while attacking. It starts fast, it ends fast, and a jumping medium or heavy is pretty much the only attack a beginner recognizes as giving frame advantage. On top of that, if you are hit out of the air, you recover very quickly. Jumping feels like the safest way of playing the game. People begin to say, All-Star Battle has no neutral game or pokes. It's a jump in and easy beat game. And that line of thinking can get them wins online or against people with a similar view, especially if they know combos or if their character does have a good easy beat. That's what you see when two beginners fight each other. Jumping until one makes a mistake. However, this line of thinking quickly falls apart when you come across someone who can land counter-hit anti-airs, or even worse, someone who has the confidence in their spacing to cross under for a full punish. What then? They have to consider other ways to damage or punish their opponent. If these players rely on crouching light attacks to start combos, or standing light attacks to start easy beats, then this is where the game gets really clunky and awkward. Players often find themselves in a situation where there are one or two character spaces between them and their opponent. If they rely on light attacks or jump-ins, their instinct is to either jump or dash forward to open an offense or to punish. Both of these methods end up taking too long and result in the opponent recovering and punishing them. It's critical to find moves that close the gap to make your presence known to the opponent. A good example would be Part 1 Dio. His light attacks and standing medium are terrible punishers. But crouching medium can allow him to connect for a combo. Even then, there are those awkward situations where even that doesn't reach. That's where his command normal, 6H, comes in. 6H, which leads to a Rekka chain combo, will do enough damage to make the opponent reconsider if their strategy is worth it. These types of situations are what make a player wean themselves off of easy beats. The next way to open up your opponent is to chip away at them until they make a big mistake. This leads us to talk about how pokes work in this game. When most players saw the game, they assumed it would be Street Fighter 4 with a JoJo skin on top. These players had a tough time, however, as the game is built more like a slowed-down anime-style fighter, married with 3D movement. The difference is subtle, but it's there, and it makes the game feel off to those players. On top of that, characters in this game don't have playstyles that veteran fighting game players are familiar with. Even worse, some characters have familiar looking moves that are quite deceptive in their actual use. For example, Jonathan Joestar's moveset looks a lot like Ryu. But he's 100% a rushdown character, meant to use his super armor to bulldog opponents. Or, you have characters that have movesets that look like zoning characters, but they aren't zoners at all. With this game, unless players have resources to help them learn characters fast, it will take them a while to learn the spacing for their character and develop pokes into their playstyle. In other words, players often develop a neutral game at the tail end of their learning, as the benefits don't show themselves until they can cover their bases and do enough damage to justify it. As soon as you can confidently stuff your opponent's jumps, movement, and attacks, you can begin conditioning your opponent to make those big mistakes that lead to combos. This can take experimentation, as understanding the ins and outs of each move expands your options. This process makes experienced fighting game players feel that they are relearning how to play fighting games all over again. It feels like their fundamentals are betraying them in the beginning, which must mean that fundamentals don't apply to this game because it's a broken game. But as you can see, when we delve into the game, it starts to look more like a real fighting game.